Okay, guys, there is so much going on about this profile. It is truly a Mount Everest profile that you have to see. This is a profile pop-up for Ekta. I want you to see her right there. You might want to get a new picture. You see when I zoom in on it, you can show it shows that it's the detail isn't as good as it would be, but usually it's so small it's not going to make that big of a difference. But if you've got a better picture eventually, that's fine. The one you have is great. But again, the Mount Everest here, I love the background. And the profile is a Mount Everest of passion with a pioneering journey unfolding, is what I would call it. And I want to talk about specifically your current job, your passion, and recommendations. So, what do I mean by that? Right here, you've got wording in here. This is what sold me on your summary right here. The viable pioneer with high persuasive, relational, critical thinking, etc., with cooperative abilities. I'm having a hard time reading it here. And a compelling leader with demonstrated mastery in dealing with various projects. That right there, I read that, it just came alive. I loved it. That to me kind of set the stage for your whole summary. And what you've just got in here, you're experienced and, you've got a lot going on. You're going back to school and, you're recognized for all these different areas, demonstrated working. What's missing in here, when I'm going to get to it in a second, I'm going to jump down, but what's missing is your recommendations and some of the accomplishments that you've got later on in the profile. Don't make us dig for that because we may not get that far. You got to look at the summary as that may be the one thing that they look at, okay? So here's what I mean. Let's go down here and take another look. When I look at your current position, notice it isn't your current position. It's the one you had last. I love the use that you have here of the bullets. It comes out and looks really great on an app. But what I've got going on here is a journey at the bottom of the mountain that really should be the peak. You have this repeating in all of your positions. This part down here where you talk about your achievement highlights. These are outstanding. These are awesome. You want to get those to be right at the top of each position because look what happens when I tap on one of these. I don't see anything about your accomplishments here. Here you manage the project. You manage the project to ensure. I'm not seeing much detail there. Now, this one was good. You got a metric right there. That makes me a little bit interested. Here, you talked about your passionate project lead. That was great. Get the past tense in there, too. You were a passionate project leader because it was in the past. And I see a number here, and that gets me to want to click. But again, I go down here, and you've got some great stuff, the highlights. That's awesome. Don't bury that. Have that be above the fold, as I would call it, because look how many steps it took me. If I came to your profile, I got here, let's say I searched on you and I found you. That's another thing I'll get to in a second. I swipe up and I look to see the titles. Now, does that title anything that I'm interested in? A credit control analyst? Let's say I'm looking for project manager or a product manager. Nope, I don't see product manager, don't see product manager, don't see it. So they may never tap here, they may never click. But let's say we do. We get in here. Now, hopefully you've got product management in here if that's, for example, what you're going for. But you want to get that grab. You want to get them as quick as you can, and you have done it in an incredible way. See how short that is? You put that in first, and that's all you're gonna see. And then they're gonna want to know, well, how did you do that? You've told them and you've shown them the results. Now they're going to want to know how, why, where, when. You've got their interest. So go with that, run with it. Now, the other quick thing, you've got the skills, you've got 50 skills, that's great. Try to get more endorsements on that, but you've got 16 recommendations. I recommend you somehow highlight some of those. Highlight some snippets here again in the summary. We don't want them going all the way to the bottom to find out what's been great about you, what other people have said about you. So get those up there. Now, probably the most important thing is here, the fact that your current position is not current, it's not present, even though you're at school right now. That's okay. You can say that you're in school. Add a position here, just like you would do in a resume. Add a position saying you're a full-time student while you're, looking for your next opportunity. You can say something like that and then use this title of that current position to have all those keywords in there of what you're looking for, kind of what you're doing here in the headline. But without that, you are not being found as well. So you are not going to show up on searches, and now everything I was just going through, they'll never get here. They'll never find your profile is the risk because you don't have a current position. LinkedIn says you're 27 times more likely to be found with a current position. So I believe that stat's right. I'll have to double check that, but you want it, okay? Trust me on that. If you're not an all-star, which is part of having that current position, I believe the stat is 27 times, and that's why if you look at your weekly stats, it's why you're not showing up. So I hope that helped. Ekta, that again, this was a triumph of a profile. I know you can make it even better, but I love the passion. I love the content you've got in there. Keep going. You're doing great with it. And guys, just a little reminder here. This really is the tip of the iceberg, getting you found with SEO and all that I've just touched on a little bit here. If you want more help with that, get a hold of me, but we'll be glad to go over that more with you. But anyway, this was